Hello everybody, I'm Symes and this is Robin.
Hello, I'm Robin. That was Symes.
Hello, welcome
Hello.
once again to Kerbal Space Program and the aftermath of our moon mission, what we'd done.
Or also known as the ever-decreasing circles mission.
Yes, took a substantially longer to deorbit than it should have done due to a couple of mistakes that I made, but let's not dwell on the
No,
past.
let's think about success,
Let
that
us look
no one's
forward to
dead.
the future. And also that, yeah, nobody died, so that's 100% successful. So we got a bunch of science from our mission, and I also did some more now obligatory parts tests, landed, and also splashed down just a little way away from the Space Centre, the footage of which I will of course run at high speed behind me, blathering about it right now. So we've got 855 science to spend.
That's a lot of
It's a lot
science.
of science right there. So
Yeah.
let's go and spend it on sciencey things. So we're going to do some satellite launches today, and the reason for that is I'll go into in a minute. So I think this node here, this node here has photovoltaic panels in it and a battery, so that's useful for
More solar stuff.
satellites. So I think we should probably throw that in. That's 160. That's going to cost. This one has more sciencey things in as well. Advanced exploration. It's got this part, which is a multispectral sensor, which I'll come to in a minute. It's been added by a mod, but it's useful for satellites, and it's also quite cool, in keeping with our usual reason for doing things in our space program. So that's quite cool, and we get this barometer as well, and a couple more mobility enhancers.
More movement. Yay.
So that's 162. 160 as well, rather.
Right.
And then we've got 535 left, which means we can probably just buy these 5 remaining nodes on this tier and call it good. So this one is heavy rocketry, so we get the tallest heavy booster yet, a couple of larger sized engines, and some large sized fuel tanks. So that's good.
Excellent.
For
Yep.
90 science. This is aerodynamics, which gives us, we've got jet intakes and a jet engine and some winglets and tail fins and stuff. So if we start making space planes, that's what that's for. Here we have advanced flight control, which gives us RCS thrusters, which are useful things to have, and we've got another probe core there, and another winglet and another plane cockpit.
Excellent.
And down at the bottom, the last one is landing, which gives us a tiny landing strut for probes and a small landing gear bay for space planes. Done. And we've still got 175 left to spend.
God, what are we going to do with it all?
Amazing. We can use this. This starts giving us docking ports. They will come in useful later on. That's planes. Bigger command pods. Oh, the Mark 1 lander can. Maybe we should go for that. Bigger parachute. Specialised controls, could we get this lander can, which is slightly better than a capsule for making landers out of, because it's octagonal and you can stick things on the side of it.
Hurrah.
So let's get the one with the lander can in it. And that's it. We're now out of available science, because that was 160. So,
Having spent wildly with gay abandon.
splurged all of our science. Let's now go and check out missions. And this is what we're looking at today. Science data from space around Kerbal, science data from space around the moon. Right. So we get this is how you start funding your space program, especially the way we're going to do it, because this one gives you 30,000 monies for completion, and you get 5,000 in advance.
How much cash we got at the moment?
We're 411,000 at the moment. We've been making a profit on our space program so far, mainly because everything we've been doing has been according to contracts, so we get paid for it all. Plus the parts tests do help. So we'll take the science data from around Kerbal one, and the one from the moon is even more monies. So we'll take that one too. We've got another rescue mission, but we're not going to do that yet. And we've got new exploration missions popped up. Duna and Ike. Duna is the next planet further out, I think, from the Sun, and Ike is the moon of Duna. But we've also got to explore Minmus, which I think we'll do first, because it's the other moon in our system. But we'll leave that for now. We've got our satellite contracts, or science data contracts, there. So let's do them.
Yep.
To do them,
that's what we're here for. Putting stuff in space and leaving it there, like some kind of space junk litter.
I know I said we shouldn't do any more nighttime launches, but I think I might do another.
We're going to.
Yeah. Just because one of the launches I want actually to be more or less at dawn, so I think we can do the other one first.
It'd be nice with the sun coming over the horizon and the rocket going into the sky.
So we want to do that. So we'll get this. We want to make a probe.
Stay put, Nick.
Stay put, Nick. We want to make a probe, or rather a satellite, to orbit the moon. So we want a probe core, and we'll need some fuel to get it from Kerbal orbit to the moon, and this 48.7S engine to drive it, which gives it 4 kilometers a second delta V, which is probably about 3 times as much as it needs to get from Kerbal orbit to the moon. So that's good so far. So what we do is make it into a useful satellite.
You mean actually add stuff that's on it?
Make it do some stuff. So first of all, we'll put an antenna on it.
Yeah.
So it can transmit data back. And this is stuff from a mod called ScanSat.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very cool. So we'll add those. So we've got this radar altimetry sensor, which we'll put on that side. And this multispectral sensor, which we just unlocked, which I will rotate and then put on that side, so it's balanced, because they weigh about the same.
Okay.
And we'll put this thermometer on as well. That's what we'll actually do, is we'll put a thermometer on here, and it's about the same mass as this antenna, so we'll put the antenna. So we'll put the antenna facing the thermometer on the other side. Is that right? No, this needs to be a little bit. So, put the antenna there. Yeah, that looks right. Put this back on the bottom, which I do with posting. And also, we're going to want some solar panels. So we unlocked the larger solar panels. So these are ones which unfold like proper spaceships have.
Ooh, spiffy.
So we'll put them on, and actually also we'll pull this off, and we'll put this rechargeable battery bank on there, and put that back underneath like that. Right, there is our satellite. The extra mass we've had has brought its total delta V down to 3 and a bit, which is still like more than twice as much as it actually needs to go from orbit to the moon.
Yeah.
So that should be good. The other thing we'll do, this button here, that disables the internal battery in the probe core. So we've got this battery bank here to power it, but if we happen to forget to put the solar panels out and it runs out of power, this will still have power in it, so we can then turn it on and extend the solar panels.
Useful.
Something that I've learned recently, which turned out to be very, very handy. So anyway, this needs a lift vehicle. So we want structural, we want to put a stack decoupler under it, and we slap a lift vehicle underneath. Shouldn't require very much, because it's really not very heavy. Let's see what we get from a single fuel tank and a T45. That gives us...
You're not actually putting a tank in space here.
Not an actual tank, no, just a fuel tank.
Yeah.
So that's 3.17.
So many types of tank. I don't suppose there's options to put giant space lasers into the space.
Not stock, no. But there are mods which have weapons and stuff in them. But the only thing is you can really blow up asteroids in your own spaceships, so...
Yeah.
So, 3.17 isn't quite enough, but we just get to where we need to go by putting rocket boosters on. As always...
In doubt, add more boosters.
When in doubt. Solid rocket boosters. So let's put one on to start with. And that separator... where are we? The back may be oversized for this job, being taller than the actual rocket. Yeah, we probably don't need that one. Let's put some smaller ones on. Where's the little one? you are. The RT10, that's what we want. The RT10 gives 857. How short were we? We need another 1.5, so I'm thinking probably 3 of these. Let's call it 4, just to be safe. Yep, that'll do it. The thrust to weight ratio is outrageously high. It's 4.6.
It's going up.
We're gonna
some kind of rocket.
We're gonna waste so much fuel on fighting air resistance if we do that. So you got the solid boosters and you turn the thrust limiter down until it's between 1.5 and 1.8 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Which is better, and of course it'll go up because we're going to be burning all of the fuel, which reduces the weight. So start there. Right. So structural. Get some struts on. Make these things not wobble about. Hopefully that's less than ideal. Wait a minute. I'll try and do that a bit better. That's more like it. That's a little bit more straight. And we'll strut them together. Like that. Put these launch stability enhancer on. And there we are. That is a moon probe launcher right there. Slightly
looking
overpowered.
slightly silly, but hey.
Slightly overpowered, but you know, it's only going to cost us 20 grand to launch. So given that the contract's going to pay us 68 grand on completion, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. It's not like we're shy of money anyway.
No, but it's best not to waste it where possible. But I think we're good. So what we'll do is we'll send this one up now and get it on its way to the moon, and then we'll do another one to go into Kerbal orbit. So launch.
Let's get this show in the space.
Right, yes, we need to bring that engine down so that it goes at the same time as that. And
up, up, up. It's quite impressive how tiny this thing is compared to how big the other things we've been sending up have got.
Yeah, because we're sending so little mass up, because it's a very, very small ship. When you want to actually send manned stuff anywhere, of course you've got extra mass for the capsule, and you have to have extra fuel to move it around, and bigger engines to help keep it moving around, and then you have to put more fuel and bigger engines under that to lift it all. And so it gets ridiculous. I mean, this thing was about 20 tons in total.
Yeah.
And the lifter for our manned moon mission was 70. And you know, the transfer stage was 20 tons by itself.
Yeah.
Whereas this has the transfer stage built into the satellite because
it's all a bit cunning.
How are we doing? Let's just check my speed and altitude chart over here. Nearly 3,000, just under 120. That's pretty reasonable. Ideally, apparently,
about half fuel, and we're at 3k up already.
Yeah, half fuel on the boosters. If we put it up to, if we left it at like the original thrust to weight, it would have burned all of the fuel by now, but it would be going ridiculously too fast, and it'd be getting, possibly even getting re-entry effects would be going so fast. It's getting bright red heat thing coming off and going up, which means you're doing it a bit wrong.
Yeah.
160 at 5,000. 180 at 6,000, which we're going to pass now. So we're more or less on track as far as velocity and altitude is concerned. Thrust to weight has now hit 3.0. Now we're going actually quite quick.
We are running out of fuel, mind.
Well, again, it's just solid boosters, so
yeah,
we're going to ditch them.
Yeah,
They're
it'll be even teenier.
They've actually taken us past 10,000 now, but I can't really steer very well without the main engine on. So we're just going to have to wait and then ditch them. Okay, now we're going to nose over.
Mini rocket.
Keep burning, and yes, mini rocket somewhere, probably, which you can't really see. But the reason for trying to launch the Kerbal satellite at dawn is that we want its orbit to be in the sunlight as much as possible. So if you launch it at dawn, we're going to give it a polar orbit. So if it goes round the planet more or less at the terminator, then it should stay in the sunshine all the time. That's the theory anyway.
Ah. Well, yeah, we didn't actually stick any lights on this as well.
No, so we don't get to see it at all until it's in space and the sun's on it.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is going up. That gets to 75 or so. Cut the engines. Complete blackness. So we may as well look at the map screen, which will actually have something on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's our trajectory right now. So, add a maneuver node. More or less there. 83, 69, that's wrong. 77, 74. That's about what we want. Bring up the old nav ball. Turn the ship till we get to where we want to go.
Zoomy, zoomy, zoom, zoom.
And then once it's more or less pointing in the right direction, we'll do a little bit of time acceleration to get there. There's not very long before we need to get there anyway. We are now, just now above 70,000, so now we're out in space proper. And need 32 seconds of burn apparently. Let's go. Burned slightly too hard there, but whatever, we're in orbit, that's fine.
We're getting there.
So, there's your moon, right over there. So let's set that as a target. Add a maneuver node here. Drag this out to the moon's orbit. You know how this goes by now. And there's the encounter. Bink. Oop. So we're going to have to drag this back and forth a little to get a half decent encounter. Moon perhaps is 57k, that's fine, we probably don't need it. We don't actually need it to be that close because it's going to be orbiting the moon rather than trying to land on it, so I think what we actually want is something closer to 200k. Something like that. Right. There's our little rocket. What we'll do, that's the wrong thing. What we're going to do now is unfold the solar panels.
Like some glorious wings.
Like that. So now, it won't run out of battery power.
Whee!
I mean, the engines were supplying it with battery power anyway. They have alternators in them. But now we're in the sunshine, we need to extend the panels so that when we're travelling towards the moon, which will be several hours of not burning engines, it'll be still keep everything charged. We don't need this lift stage anymore. Let's ditch it. So we will rotate to face the maneuver node. Turn on the engine. forward to the node.
It does look pretty impressive now.
It's nice.
Almost Mir-like.
We've actually got the sun and the moon and Kerbal and our spaceship all in the same shot as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's throttle up.
Yep.
Start burning out towards the moon. Yeah, because this ship is very small and very light, it isn't going to take very long to burn that far at all. I'm going to have to throttle it down to keep it under control as it gets out this far. Ooh. Oh yeah, I've actually I've not gone too far there. It's so often my way. So I'll just give a little tiny burn this way just to get us back to. Oh, see, takes very little force to screw this up altogether.
Yeah.
Just. Alright, 113 kilometers, that'll do. I can't get it any more accurate than that right now. I have to do a burn that takes less long for me to press the throttle up, followed immediately by the throttle down buttons. So we'll just leave it. Right, so this ship right here, with its solar panels extended, I think we'll turn it to face the sun, like that.
Helpful.
Probably doesn't need that, but it gives it maximum coverage. And this is on its way to the moon now, as we can see.
Hey, oh, that's a good shot there with it. It's back to the planet.
Flying over Kerbal. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
And again, there's the moon
Off it
hanging in the
chunks.
background. So this is on its way to the moon. It will get there in 1 day, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Kerbal time.
Yeah.
So now we've got time to jump back to the Space Center and prepare our next launch. And this is where things start getting slightly complicated when you have multiple missions running at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you need to be careful that you go back to the ship that you need to adjust the heading on when you need to adjust its heading. Otherwise they wind up like flying off into space or crashing into the moon or whatever. But there's a mod called Kerbal.
Generally bad things.
There's a mod called Kerbal Alarm Clock, which I don't have yet, but once things get more complicated I think I will probably install. Which helps you with all of that. So this is going to be the Kerbal satellite. So all this needs is enough fuel to get into Kerbal orbit, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically that. So somewhere is this fuel tank. Just slap that on the bottom. Slap this tiny engine underneath, and there you are. That is what you call a single stage to orbit spacecraft. Because it goes all the way into
very small.
It goes all the way into orbit without needing to ditch anything. It will require no boosters or anything else. It's got 6k of delta V. What it does need is some batteries in accordance with plans so far, and we turn off that just to be safe, and we add some solar panels to it. Same routine really, just a slightly different shape. Solar panels there. Go to science, we add the radar altimetry sensor, only one of those, and the multispectral sensor, and take that. So that's on the opposite side, that's that. Then it needs an antenna. Thus, and well, again, oops, we will stick the thermometer on the opposite side to the antenna. And there we are. Lovely.
Hurrah.
And we call that Kerbal probe or something. And that, I think, should be that. So what I think we'll do now is stick that on the pad. Actually, I'll put some supports on just to make sure it doesn't fall over. It's probably a good idea. Right, so we get some supports on it there. Put it on the pad. Wait for dawn. Dawn's a few hours away, but the other satellite's going to take over a day to get to where it's going, so we should be fine. So if we just time warp up until the sun comes up, there it is. It's nice. Watch it come up in the east. There it is. Lovely. Right.
Hurrah.
So what we're going to do with this one is try and put it in a polar orbit, as I think I mentioned before.
Yeah.
So it gets coverage of the entire planet's surface, which is, good for satellites which want to give you coverage of the. I'm not really. Yeah, let's just launch this stupid thing. So what we're going to do is, rather than go east, we're going to go north. Because east obviously puts you in an equatorial orbit, whereas north will put you in a polar orbit.
Yep.
And the best altitude for the ScanSat sensors, which are the ones we added from this mod. The radar altimetry one is fine at any altitude up to quite high. The multispectral one is best at 250 kilometers apparently, so that's what we're going to go for. As our mighty satellite thunders upwards.
Zoom. It looks a bit like one of those roll-on deodorants, I'm afraid.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's also not so much thundering as trundling upwards, but it is. It is going.
It's just so little weight.
It's not. It's got low thrust to weight as well, but it was like 2 tons total or something.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 tons total. And most of that is the fuel, which is obviously burning off, so the thrust to weight keeps going up.
Some sort of elastic band would probably do it.
Yeah, we could have put it on a catapult and launched it to get some initial altitude. Twang. But it's going up. Where are we at? 4,000? Yeah, it's going a little bit slower than it needs to, so we're going to waste some DV, but we do have quite a lot, so... Because I don't know if it doesn't look like the 487S motor actually has an alternator in it either, so
yeah.
So we're going to need to deploy the panels when we
the
get
deployinator.
Thrust to weight has reached 2.0. Yeah, the velocity is now rapidly catching up to where it should be, and we're at 10,000, so let's nose this thing over. Roaring into the sky.
Zoomity zoom zoom.
How's it looking? It's going to take a little while yet, but you see it's heading up that way rather than equatorial. You don't want to be exactly over the pole. There will be a couple of degrees out, I think, to get best coverage, but we can tweak it later.
Yep.
Flying. Actually, want to circularize at 250 or something, so I keep the apoapsis going up.
Yep.
Up and up. 5. There we go. There we go, look. There's our trajectory right now.
A lovely arc. Doesn't look like it's going to panel into the planet at all. Oh no.
No, no. That's entirely fine.
Yeah, nothing can possibly go wrong.
So we need to hit this and circularize, of course, at 250. Which is kind of there. Let's tweak that back. That's 256, that's 258, that's not too shabby. Right now it's at 85 degrees inclined, which I think is probably fine,
all right.
really. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it will do. It will cover the entire planet, which is what we want.
Yeah.
It just might take a bit longer than a perfect orbit would. So now we're out in space.
Hooray for space.
Let's once again deploy our photovoltaic panels in order that we might harvest beautiful sunlight. That's that done. Yeah, I think that's more or less what I want. So now we also need to find that maneuver node so we can burn along it. I have no idea where it is. Are you moving up? There you are. Okay, good. So again, we'll fast forward to through the 5 minutes we have to wait.
Chug, chug, chug.
Right. 2, 1, and burn. Alright, that's it. We're in orbit.
Excellent. That
was a short burn. It's not precise. It's not exactly how I wanted. That one's at 267, which is perhaps a little bit higher up, but I think it's probably fine.
It's looking less impacty in the on the planety though.
Yes. So what I'll do again is just rotate the ship here so that it faces the sun. And the idea, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. This is not based on anything that I've read up on. It's just this is probably what you should do. The idea is that we should orbit, at least for a while the planet's in this position around the sun. We should orbit at the terminator, which means that there should always be sunlight falling on the satellite.
Ah,
that's the plan.
Which means it's always going to charge.
Yes, we should never get any blackouts. So what we'll do now is we'll activate these sensors from ScanSat. Radar altimetry. Check out that lovely planetary mapping window there. And also multispectral.
Hurrah!
Those are now both engaged. And this, it's actually drawing, you can't really see it very well, it's actually starting to draw the surface of the planet down there.
Yeah.
But we have a big map button as well, which you can see. And it also shows you the projected orbital path. It's quite a cool mod, this.
Yeah.
And this is all grey for now because we've only scanned a very, very small amount of the surface. But once it gets to the top and fills in the bit we've just flown over, then you should see. There you go.
Yeah.
Radar
I see. Yeah.
altimetry flying over the pole at the moment.
Data and the shizzle.
Right. So that's all fine, and that's operational. And as long as you are flying a ship that has a piece of ScanSat technology attached to it, this stuff will keep on working. Normally, if you switch away from a ship, then effectively nothing happens. It stays in orbit or whatever, but it doesn't really do anything. But
so that's up there forever now.
Yeah, and this will keep on filling in the map as long as we're controlling a ship that has a ScanSat part on it, like the other probe that we're now about to switch to and
what a coincidence!
Bring into orbit around the moon, and that's going to take a day or so. So this will get a chance to do a few orbits and do some scanning. So if we switch to the moon probe. Yeah, and you can see from this that there is no data coming from the scan mapping on the moon probe. God, we're nowhere near the moon yet. So, and also
it's
none of it's turned on.
Yeah.
None of it's switched on. There's the moon right there. So we need to get to the moon, obviously, and get into orbit around the moon. And so we'll start time warping forward. So we're about to enter the moon's sphere of influence now.
There's lines going all over the place. Yes. We must be doing something good.
Yeah. Apparently this is called the patched conics orbital model.
Patched comics?
Conics, C-O-N-I-C-S, because any orbital path can be described by cutting a cone in a certain way.
Oh, right.
Because you've got kind of like a parabolic path there, and circular or elliptical paths, etc., etc. So, actually, through absolutely no cunning at all of my own, we're actually coming in almost at the terminator on the moon as well.
Yep.
The terminator's more or less here, so not really. But let's get into orbit and then we can adjust it.
Sounds good.
So we want to drag this to that one again. It wants to be about 250 kilometers out. So we'll just bring this down, and then that's 260k. Let's just tweak it a little more. Yeah, fine, that'll do. So we'll pull into this orbit and then adjust for a polar orbit once we're in the right sort of place. The moon might be trickier, but
yeah,
we'll try and get an orbit kind of going around the terminator again. And we do have, I think, still quite a lot of fuel available for trying to do that sort of thing. So we should be fine. Let's just rotate to find that node again. There it is. And we should see our ship entering from the left fairly shortly. There it is. Ooh. Don't want to overdo it. Alright, and counting down to the burn, and burning.
Tick, tick, tick.
Burning, 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 and stop. A little bit further.
Yep, the two circles nearly match up. Things must be good.
Yep. We can 253. That's pretty good. So this is where we are now. This is our orbit. This is about the distance we want it to be at, so we'll tweak the periapsis in a bit, and I think we want to try and go around the terminator. It's probably easier to try and bend it southwards since we're going slightly to the south anyway. I don't think it really matters, so let's go more or less at this point and drag this what's called anti-normal.
Yep.
And as you can see, that also adds velocity, so that eventually throws us out of orbit altogether. But back. Right, that's 148, 244. Just eyeballing it, that looks more or less right, doesn't it?
Yep.
More or less. Good. Probably. I don't know. It'll be fine. As long as it's polar, it'll probably cover the surface eventually, even if occasionally it does conk out through lack of battery power. I will ideally not have the moon between it and the sun at any time, but it may not be working right. Yeah, because it's harder to tell where the terminator line is on the moon. Anyway, let's just we've manoeuvred to the appropriate heading, so let's again zip to where the node is and burn more. "10-second burn apparently.
Precisionally estimated by a big clock or something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
So I reckon it's about and just like draws a line on a whiteboard. And everyone else is going, ooh, get you with the whiteboard. Alright, let's burn. Swing the orbit round. And out again. Alright, that's we'll just bring the apoapsis back out to 250 plus. That will do. We are in a polar orbit now. Need to bring the apoapsis up. But we can do that once we've circled the moon. And before we do that, we want to actually turn on the sensors so that they can start sensing. Start multispectral scan, and also
some sort of beeping noises will be involved then.
Yeah, we've got a radar altimetry scan as well, which is the one that's actually going to fill this map in. Okay. And the sun is over there, so actually we'll wait until we've circularised the orbit before we start deciding which way to point things. This needs to be going faster. Bring that out to 250. Ooh. Too quick. That says 251, that says 253, that's probably about right actually. 251, 252, that'll do it. Nodes in 49 minutes, so we should at least be able to see, because now as we zoom around then the scanner will fill in what it's scanning. Yep. So we'll start speeding around the planet and then you can see the thing move on the map more quickly. Whee! There's a big stripe of moon's surface there. Oh, a very short burn apparently for this. To 0.4 seconds. We'll go at lower throttle than that. 251, 253, that will do. Alright. Okay, so now we are in orbit.
Another lovely shot there.
We're not exactly, yeah, it's again, the Kerbal, sun, moon, satellite. We're not I don't think we're exactly on the Terminator, but I think we're still going to be in sunshine the whole time, so I think that is what we like to call good enough.
In the trade.
In the trade, that's what we like to say. It's good enough. So let's rotate the ship so that it's properly facing the sun. Like that, kind of. Like that. And what we can do now, now that the ship is in orbit, is just time accelerate forward and have it whiz round filling the map in.
Yep.
So we can do 1,000 at 1,000 times time acceleration. You can see that the dot on the map whizzes around, and then the scanner kind of scans up, filling in the gaps. So now we're starting to get a picture of the lunar surface, except that it fuzzed out, which means it probably ran out of power or something.
Yeah.
Not sure. Not sure what happened there. It didn't seem to go into shadow though, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on, I'm just going to keep an eye on the electric charge and see.
Just make beeping noises, maybe it'll be alright.
It flashed briefly into shadow and then the charge went out down the dark side. But there it is, whizzing round.
Zoomy zoom zoom.
Filling in the surface of the moon by radar altimetry. And you can see the result of not having an ideal polar orbit because there's all of those little gaps between each of the tracks. So if we'd had the right inclination, those would all have been filled in. But it doesn't matter because it'll overlap them.
Eventually it'll come around and do it all again.
Eventually we'll get 100%, yeah. So that's pretty cool. I think as a thing, that's a cool mod. It adds cool stuff, and this is all actually based on looking at the planet. It's not based on data that's stored in the mod. It's actually based on looking at the surface of the body in the game. So it works with mods that add new planets as well.
All right, cool.
So we've got 86% of the surface mapped now. of the moon. And
that's good.
And we can go to the big map, which will slowly fill in and show us what's going on. And this is low resolution radar altimetry, so it's not like a super high res map of the moon's surface, but you still can see all craters and stuff.
It's like covered in rocks and stuff.
And also you can see where our landing site is. There's where the first landing site is that we put down. And then there's all these anomalies.
Ooh.
Yeah, which are mysterious things on the moon's surface. So at some point we might go and check them out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
that totally looks like a map of the moon to me.
Yeah.
So there we are, moon.
Yep, definitely a moon.
And we can. This is the altimetry map, and because we've got, and the altimetry map will also do slopes, so you can see where all the slopes are. That fills in like that. So all of the brighter lines are where the slopes are the steepest. That's pretty cool. But the multispectral scanner that we've got also does biomes. So it tells you where all of the different biomes are with different colours. So we've got highlands and lowlands and different craters. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, map of the moon, awesome. And what we can do now is go to, for example, this altimetry sensor, right click on it. If I can actually right click on it rather than another part of the ship. Fuel tank, no. It's being a bit awkward. Let's try the radar one. Yeah, so you got analyze data, like that. And you get a standard altimetry scan, analyze data, science pop-up. Transmit the data. Wait for it to extend the antenna and do the transmission and the actual things behind that window, so you can see it uploading. Done. And look. Contract complete. Science data from space around the moon.
Hooray!
64,890 funds.
Cha-ching!
As you say, cha-ching. And it doesn't actually matter. You can do that multiple times. I don't know why I can't click on this thing. There we go. And we can do it with the multispectral data as well, and that gets us more. Once you've got 95% coverage of the surface, that's effectively all of the data you can get. So you just keep sending it in. Oh, of course, transmitting stuff takes loads of electric charge, which I forgot about. So the thing keeps running out. Just going, oh no, not enough charge. So anyway, that's getting there. But what we should hopefully be able to do now is jump back to our Kerbal orbiter, which should have scanned a fair chunk of the planet's surface by now. Let's wait for this to finish transmitting.
That's a nice little map.
It's cool. I really like it. I really like this mod.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
So, okay, so if we jump back to the map screen, we can do it from map screen. We could have gone back to the space center. It doesn't really matter. There's the Kerbal probe. Switch to it. So, Kerbal probe. Yeah, check this out. That's what that's what it's scanned.
It's like a planet and stuff.
While we were orbiting the moon, doing moon stuff, this is what the Kerbal probe scanned. So again, let's pull up the big map, and it'll replace the map of the moon with the map of Kerbal, with all slope and biome data included.
Excellent.
And Kerbal has anomalies on it too, although not very many. Render. Nice. So this the largest biome here, that's water, oddly enough.
Yeah.
And this is you've got highlands and midlands and grasslands and mountains. And this is the continent with the space center on it.
Cool.
Which is and one of these, there's three anomalies here. I think one of them actually is the space center. And there's one on the island offshore, which I think is a previous space center. It's got a runway on it and stuff. And there's another one a bit further inland. And there's one there. So, but yeah, cool. So cool stuff. Map of Kerbal, lovely. And you can export the maps as PNGs, and it's all pretty.
That's
cool.
quite nice.
and it's got different projections as well. So this is like rectangular Mercator style, which stretches all of everything north and south of the equator. And there's this one, which you have to wait for it to redraw, which is less distorted. And it distorts everything much less. It's just mainly distorted at the poles. But it's still stretched out. I do kind of wish it would render faster. That's the only issue I have with it, but
yeah,
it's
still got our stylish tiger stripes on it.
It's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it's like a more global projection, and it looks a bit more familiar to what you see when you actually look down at the planet from orbit.
Yeah.
So it's just the right shape. So yeah, that's
pretty good.
That's ScanSat, which is a cool mod, and it's also going to give us the orbital science we need to keep funding, orbital reports rather, to keep funding our space program, because now we go and do the same thing from this one, if I can click on it, analyze data and transmit. It takes so much power. Right, so well, I'll actually just do is time accelerate a bit until the batteries fill back up.
Yeah.
And then do the multispectral one as well. And the other thing, I mean, you don't have to use ScanSat for this. I'm just using ScanSat because ScanSat is cool. The way you do it, if you don't have ScanSat, is you use the thermometer that you also put on the satellite.
And it goes, space, it's really cold.
And you just go, log temperature. Oh no, you're too high. Yeah, we're at 263. Well, you actually want to be below 250 kilometers for the thermometer to work. But you just do the same thing. You do log temperature, and then you transmit it, and then you get your contract completion message, and all of your monies. And I think that's our missions for today.
Good stuff.
So we've got satellites flying around in orbit now.
Yep.
It's all good. Let's have a look at the Space Center.
All hurrah.
So now we're at 485,000. So that's another like 80,000 profit on the day. On, well, several days, but whatever.
Plenty of cash.
Lots of cash, and you see on the. We've got all of these probes everywhere, which is great.
Yeah, we have.
It's like,
we're littering space.
Like a proper space program and everything.
Yeah.
All right,
stuff going round.
So that's a successful mission. No long-winded deorbiting required. So I think we'll call it there for today. And we've actually made a little bit more science in the interim as well.
Yeah.
So
useful.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Join us again next time when we'll do more spacey things.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.